No matter how much you paid for that high-end guitar or how well your guitar was constructed by whoever the brilliant craftsman was who built it, no matter the wood used or the care taken to make it, the fact is that all fretted instruments are slightly imperfect. And this means that it's pretty much impossible for a fretted instrument to be perfectly 100% in tune everywhere on the neck at the same time. Now, if you want something close to perfection, as close as possible anyway, do a quick Google search for a microtonal guitar. You'll get to see how the frets need to look and how they need to be installed in order to be pretty much perfectly in tune everywhere. It's a very crazy looking guitar neck. So obviously a microtonal guitar isn't something that everyone's going to run out and buy, but there is an interesting approach that you can use for tuning your guitar that will allow it to be the most in tune for the region of the neck that you're playing in. Now, this idea I'm about to show you is based upon the whole concept that your guitar is in its best available tuning at the fret that you tune it at. So if you tune to the open strings, the guitar is going to be at most in tune from the open position, but the farther up the neck that you go, the more its tuning will slowly become degraded. So what you can do to get the best tuning as possible is you can take a tuner, your favorite tuner, whatever that is, and go and tune your guitar actually 2 frets down from where you'll be performing. You can even do this by ear. If you take a capo, you clamp it down on the neck, let's say, about 2 frets out from where you're going to be performing your idea. Now, I got to stop for a moment and just state that this is really a little bit more of a recording studio idea. It's going to be pretty hard to do this for a guitar that's going to be used live on stage, but if you're doing some recording, if your gig is in the studio, this is a fantastic idea, and it's going to be great, especially if you're recording multiple layers of guitar parts and a lot of stuff you're going to be performing is really high on the neck compared to really low on the neck, or if you're using a 12-string, or if you're using a vintage guitar that sounds fantastic because of its age and everything, but it's really kind of finicky because it is older. Well, let's discuss how this works. Now, let's say that you're recording an idea around the 7th fret. Maybe it's a solo, maybe it's a chord progression, an overdub, maybe you're doing some high triads in the studio over, maybe that's a 3rd guitar part and there's already a 1st and a 2nd guitar part, and you really need that part that you're doing at that moment to be perfectly in tune, whatever it is, but you are going to be around 7th fret. What you're going to do with this method is you're going to tune your strings. You can take a capo even if you want to and do this if you have one of those clip-on tuners. And you're going to tune your strings to the 5th fret because you're going to be playing in 7th. So we're trying to get as close to the region that we're going to be recording and playing it as possible. At that point, when you clamp the capo down, you're going to get an A, you'll have a D, there's a G, there's a C, E, and another high A. Tune up at that point. If you don't have a tuner and maybe you're just doing some backyard recording, you could do it by ear if you wanted to. So you get it all tuned up, and then you fire up your recording equipment, you do your parts, and it's going to sound much more accurate in the sense of tuning. If you're going to be doing some playing around 10th fret, what you're going to do at that point is you're just going to tune your guitar at the 8th fret. So now you're going to have a C, an F, a B flat, E flat, G, and a high C. Tune it up at that fret and you're going to sound fantastic. That way the majority of what you're playing at that point, up around the 10th fret, this is especially valuable if you're doing some small triads and stuff. That information you're doing up at that region of the fretboard is going to sound much more in tune. Using this studio tuning method that I've described in this video, it may seem like a little bit of overkill to anyone who doesn't have a lot of time spent with doing multi-tracks or working in the studio. And I can understand if you certainly don't want to use this system all the time. That's perfectly understandable. But, it is valuable. It can work wonders for some vintage guitars that have great tone but are, a real Frankenstein when it comes to getting them to balance out and be totally in tune for recording. You can use this idea for tuning a guitar. When you have multiple guitar tracks that are in different registers, maybe you have a secondary rhythm track for a lead harmony and another register, and you're trying to battle it against another track that you have on a different end of the neck, and you can't get them to balance out in tuning 100%. This method that I showed you is going to work fantastic for that. It'll also do wonders for 12-string guitars. If you're a fan of 12 strings, you love their sound, but you also are acquainted with how difficult they are to get perfectly in tune all along the neck, you're going to love using this system on your backing track recordings with those 12 strings. Basically, if you're an experienced player, you'll really appreciate the noticeable difference that this method is going to make for your guitar tuning when you go and start doing your multi-track recordings. And any musician with a good ear will be happy to hear the better tuning that will come from applying this method in a professional studio or even in your home studio. So anyway, that brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for joining me. If you have curiosity about what I do as an online guitar instructor, go and visit my website at creativeguitarstudio.com. The membership for a lifetime free membership is 100% free. All you got to do is set up a username and a password, and you can go right into the site. You're going to see everything, how it's laid out for full paid members, and get a good idea of what's going on in there. There's lots of material for free members. You can check it all out to get started. If you have any questions about the basic month-to-month payments on that plan, or if you wanted to check out what's going on with the premium package, the annual subscription, then just send me an email, or you can call me in my studio. Everything is really open to understanding on the site, but if you have extra questions, feel free to contact me about that. I'm a pretty accessible guy. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch up with you again on the next video. Bye for now. When it comes to online guitar lessons, there's no place better than creativeguitarstudio.com. General membership to the site is always free, and paid memberships to access our step-by-step beginner, intermediate, and advanced guitar programs are offered in reasonable monthly and annual packages. Skype lessons are also available if you need more specific instruction one-on-one to discuss the finer details of your guitar playing. Sign up today at creativeguitarstudio.com. I've got 25 years experience teaching guitar and have written a well-organized step-by-step guitar course. Head over to my website at creativeguitarstudio.com and sign up for a free membership today. Join the thousands of members worldwide who have already enrolled. There's no need to try learning the guitar on your own. Let me help you become the best guitar player that you can be.